Victory doesn't always mean freedom, and strength doesn't always mean control. Achilles and Kratos, two warriors feared by all, two legends whose names will never fade. Yet beneath their glory lies something most people fail to see. They are not just soldiers fighting on the battlefield. They are prisoners, not of their enemies, but of themselves. Achilles, the greatest hero of Greece, yet forever bound by fate. Kratos, the ghost of Sparta, who slaughtered the gods, only to realize that vengeance didn't set him free. It chained him even tighter. So the real question isn't who is stronger, but who suffered more. What is the meaning of victory if you lose everything? Amidst a battlefield littered with corpses and the deafening cries of soldiers, a man stands on blood-soaked sand. His eyes burn with fury. His hand grips a spear that has claimed hundreds of lives. Achilles, he is undefeated. Every opponent who dares to face him meets the same fate, lying lifeless, becoming nothing more than a footnote in the grand legend he carves with blood and steel. But when Patroclus falls beneath Hector's blade, something within him shatters, not because he lost an ally, but because he lost the one person he truly cared about. I have slain hundreds of enemies, yet why couldn't I protect him? Rage consumes him. He no longer fights for glory, no longer battles for honor. Now he seeks only one thing, revenge, and his revenge is merciless. Hector, the wise and noble prince of Troy, does not die quickly. Achilles does not allow it. He strikes him down, stabbing him relentlessly, and as Hector's blood spills onto the Trojan soil, Achilles is not satisfied. He ties the lifeless body to the back of his chariot, dragging it around the city walls for all to see, for Hector's family, for his people. Look upon this, Troy. This is the fate of those who dare to take what is mine. The Greek soldiers cheer. They see him as a god of war, a symbol of their victory. But in the silence of the night, Achilles stands alone by the fire, staring at his reflection in a blood-stained blade. He has taken his revenge, yet why does his heart feel so empty? He has claimed victory, but behind the glory, a question lingers in his mind. Is this my destiny? Am I nothing more than an executioner born to kill? And just as doubt begins to creep into his soul, Paris's arrow pierces his heel. Achilles, the immortal warrior, falls, not by the hands of a mighty soldier, but by the inescapable will of fate. He wanted eternal glory, and he achieved it, but at a cost he could never repay. Achilles attained eternal glory, but in doing so, he lost everything. He lived for war, and in the end, war was what took his life. He died a legend. But was that legend enough to replace the reality that he left with an empty heart? What if a warrior does not die at the peak of their glory? What if they survive, only to be forced to face the consequences of every drop of blood they have spilled? This is where Kratos stands. He has won the war he waged. He has slain every enemy in his path. Yet, if Achilles died with glory, Kratos remains alive, burdened with something far heavier, not death, but the weight of everything he has done. I have slain the gods, yet why am I still bound by my past? The cold wind howls through a forest blanketed in snow. In front of a dying campfire, a man sits in silence. His body is covered in scars, not just from battle, but from years of suffering that can never be erased. Kratos, the god of war who once shook Olympus, a relentless executioner who knew no mercy. He destroyed them all: Zeus, Poseidon, Hades. Names once untouchable, now reduced to nothing but blood-stained echoes of the past. Yet in this stillness, he does not feel like a victor. I avenged myself. I destroyed those who destroyed me. Then why do I still feel trapped? His hands tremble as they trace the scars on his body, but it is not the physical wounds that pain him. It is the memories that refuse to fade. He can still hear the voices of his wife and child, not as something alive, but as ghosts of a past long gone. Lysandra's screams, Calliope's laughter, echoes that no longer belong to this world. They have been gone for years, yet in his mind they remain. And this is the cruel irony that haunts him. He has slain the gods, but he cannot kill his own guilt. Kratos knows he cannot run from himself. No matter how far he goes, no matter how many lands he travels, the shadows of his past are always there. But now, something is different. Sitting beside him, a young boy watches the fire. Innocent, curious, untouched by the violence that once consumed Kratos' world. Atreus. He is not just a child, he is a chance. A chance for Kratos to do something he has never done before, to choose a different path. But can someone like Kratos truly change? Blood still stains his hands. His past still clings to him. And fate does not release its grip so easily. He has fought the gods. But this time, his greatest enemy is himself. I cannot erase what I have done, but perhaps I can make sure my son does not follow my path. And with that, Kratos rises. Tomorrow may bring another war, but tonight, he is just a father searching for a new purpose in his life. Kratos has slain the gods who oppressed him. He has destroyed Olympus, broken the chains that bound him. Or, at least, that's what he thought. But if he is truly free, why does his past still haunt him? Why does every step he takes feel as though he is still walking under the shadow of fate? He tries to escape, to leave behind the war that has consumed half his life. But in the end, can someone ever truly break free from who they are? And here lies the greatest irony. Achilles and Kratos, two men from two different ages, yet bound by the same fate. They never truly had a choice. Achilles, the hero destined to die young. Kratos, the god of war who seeks to outrun his own fate. Both powerful, both legendary. But beneath it all, both are prisoners of something far greater than themselves. Two men, two legends, one fought for glory, the other for freedom. But in the end, were they ever truly different? Achilles and Kratos, names carved into history through blood and war. Both once stood at the height of their power, defying gods, men, and even fate itself. But now, when we look closer, they never truly won. Achilles sought eternal glory. He achieved it, but at an unimaginable price, his own life. He left the world as a legend, but what is a legend to a man who lost everything? Kratos sought freedom. He slaughtered every god who had ever oppressed him. But when everything was reduced to ashes, he realized the truth. Freedom was nothing but an illusion. Vengeance does not liberate. It only replaces one chain with another. They were warriors, yet both carried the same curse. They were controlled by something far greater than themselves. Achilles was bound by fate. From birth, prophecy had already dictated his path. He would be a great hero, but his life would be short. Every step he took brought him closer to an inevitable end, as if he were merely playing a role in a tragedy written long before he was born. Kratos was bound by his past. No matter how far he traveled, the shadows of his sins followed. He killed the gods to be free, yet with every life he took, he only found himself shackled by blood and regret. They did not choose their paths. Their paths were chosen for them. But here lies their greatest difference. Achilles embraced his fate. He knew he would die young, yet he accepted it with pride. To him, it was better to die in glory than to live in obscurity. Kratos, on the other hand, rejected his fate. He refused to be a tool of the gods, refused to remain a monster that knew only war. He fought to change, to carve a new path, one not dictated by others. And so, the ultimate question remains. Can a man ever truly defy his destiny? Achilles chose not to fight it. He accepted his curse and died a legend. Kratos is still alive. He still fights, not against gods, not against men, but against himself. Two warriors, one curse, but only one of them still has the chance to decide how his story will end. Achilles and Kratos, two names etched in history, forged through blood and war. Both stood at the pinnacle of power, yet neither ever truly won. Achilles sought eternal glory, only to realize that victory meant nothing when there was no one left to share it with. Kratos sought freedom, but the more he fought, the heavier his chains became. And now, as we reach the peak of their stories, we must ask, what does it truly mean to fight? To win? To conquer? For Achilles, it was a battle against fate itself. For Kratos, it was a battle against his own past. Two warriors, two destinies. And now we witness the moment when their legacies are truly decided.